And with a collective sigh of regret as the credits rolled, the entire fandom thought, what the fuck now? Because I used to love them, but it's all over now. Because I used to love them, but it's all over now. So before I do my review or first thoughts on Morningstar, just a couple of announcements-ish, notice type things I want to get out of the way. Boring, I know, but I have to say it. A Fair and Unbiased episode for the episode Malik will be coming. I just need to find the right time and the right place to rant, because as I said, there's a particular issue I want to address, which I'm still going to address, but I can't be screaming and shouting in my house when there's other people there, so I just need to sort of plan when I'm going to do it, but I think I'll get it done tomorrow afternoon, so we'll see how it goes. So if I do it tomorrow afternoon, I'll have it edited and up for Friday, which means that the Fair and Unbiased for Morningstar will be pushed back to maybe Sunday, but since there's an episode next week, it hardly matters. So yeah, it is coming. I just need to figure out the right time and the right place to just rant, because as you know from last week's episode, there is a particularly disgusting thing that I have to address, which kind of ruins the whole excitement of Malik in the first place, but I suppose these things have to be done, so it is coming anyway. So, Morningstar, well, it's kind of baffling and upsetting that the season is over already. I was just like, as the credits were rolling up, I was just like, you can't end it there. What are you doing? I mean, I know it's pretty much where the book ended, a bit different, but same idea, and I was just kind of like, oh no, I have to wait a year now. Well, pretty much a year depending on when they start production, but I suppose it's a good sign that a season can get you going like that, and when it ends you're just like, no, I need more. So that's the first good sign that this season has done well, because everyone on Tumblr is just going like, you can't leave it there. What are you doing? So that's a good thing. So talking about the events that happened, we found out at the end of last week's episode that Camille was the owner of the Book of the White, and they had to try and find her to get the book. And in this episode, in doing so, they break the connection with the Downworlders, which was just kind of a bit like, what was even the point? I mean, it was episode 9 when they started this alliance, and only 4 episodes later, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna break it because my mum's more important. And I know getting Jocelyn was the whole thing that Clary became part of this world and what she was intending to do, but it was just kind of like, right, so you joined them together just to break them apart again. Good to know you got your priorities in order, Clary, but I can understand where she was coming from, because they need the Book of the White anyway, and it was a way to introduce Camille again. And as I mentioned last week, there was the thing that I called Camille's interference, and I'm pretty sure you have caught on to what I mean by Camille's interference. She is, I wouldn't say she's still in love with Magnus. I don't think she's capable of love. Magnus himself has said she's not capable of love. I think she's just a shit stirrer. She's a shit stirrer in the book, and she's been a shit stirrer in the series. And if you can probably tell, I hate her, because she's a prime antagonist. She's a character created just to antagonize. And if you get in the way of my Malik babies, then you're an enemy from the start. And I'm sure anyone will tell you that. Anyone who's read the books will just go, Camille. Well, some people like the antagonists, so some people who like the villains, and they romanticize the villains even when they do really, really bad things, and you're sort of just like, okay. I mean, there's people who would romanticize there's a particular villain in the Mortal Instruments, for example. I'm not going to say who it is, because obviously he's going to be introduced later, but there's a villain in the Mortal Instruments series that comes in, and he is so romanticized by some people. Like, they love him so much, and I'm not gonna make diss or make fun of people who do like him and romanticize him, but people are calling out characters who we've already been introduced to and calling them awful things and saying that they're bad guys and they're manipulative and all this stuff, and yet there's people within this fandom that romanticize the really bad guys. I don't get it. Back to the point though. Yes, Camille's interference has begun, and she's got straight in there. She didn't pause or didn't wait an episode or two until the next season. As soon as she was released, she just decided, I'm gonna just cause a riot. And of course, this riot is in the form of making Simon sign this contract saying that he asked her to turn him and kissing Magnus. In a way, I'm glad that this is coming now, because the whole Magnus dating Camille thing, it doesn't come in the books until really later, and by that point it just sort of felt like it was just being shoved in there for the sake of being shoved in there. So getting to have this now early on, when Magnus and Alec have only been together for one episode, I think it will work much better. And I'm so glad it didn't turn into one of those issues where like they see their partner kissing someone even though it's obvious that their partner did not instigate it, they don't want it, and the other person just takes a bitch fit and you kiss them. I cannot stand that, especially when they don't let them explain. The amount of fanfiction I've read where there's like this character kissing another character and the partner walks in and goes, "How could you?" without even letting them talk. I can't deal with that. Communication is key, people. Communication in a relationship is key. Let them talk. Let them explain themselves. And I'm so glad that that was also included, that you get to see them talking about this later. And Alec isn't just being all closed off and all like, oh, she kissed you. Especially since they've only been together one episode. And that's probably barely a day and a half in the timeline of the show. So, in a way, it's good that this has been introduced. I know some people are upset that it's been introduced so early, but I don't know how to put this without insulting the books. I suppose I'm just going to have to go ahead and say it. The Camille plotline in the books was inserted for drama, and that was purely it. Camille was brought in to stir up stuff between Magnus and Alec for no good reason other than the fact that they needed drama, and it really felt that way. It doesn't feel that way when I first read the books, but again, as I've said before, I've reread them, and it's just, you just sort of go, was there a point in this? And the characters go way OCC in this plot arc. Like, Alec just goes way off the charts, not like himself. And anyone who's read the books will tell you that. And the way Alec behaves in the show is so much more in character. Like, he doesn't freak out, he doesn't lose his head, he just sort of calmly addresses the situation, is his sassy self, of course, because he can obviously see that Magnus is bothered by her pure presence here, because he doesn't like her anymore, especially not in that way. And he knows that she doesn't like him in that way. She's just here to try and mess his life up, because that's just what she does, because she gets jealous and vindictive, and she's just a, as I say, antagonist. So the show, I think, did a good call in introducing this early on, because it fits the plot better, it fits the characters better, and it's best to get that out of the way so that Mal can be explored in deeper depth, because, as I've said before, Malik is not a lot in the books. There's not a lot of it. You get more in the Bane Chronicles than you get in this, and that's saying something since there's only 2 short stories on Malik in the Bane Chronicles, with a little sort of hint in one of the stories about the comment he made that I talked about in a different video. So this is good. I know people are freaking out because, different and stuff, but it's good. Just think about the positives. Think about how good they've done up until now. I've learned to trust them because they've proven themselves worthy of it. I'm trusting that they know where they're going with this, and I trust them to treat the characters properly in relation to where it is going. So anytime something's different now, I just say, okay, I'm going to give them a chance. I'm going to let them, prove to us that they know what they're doing, and they've done it before, so Yeah, I'm not bothered by that. I'm just gonna wait and see how it goes. Jason Valentine. I am very happy with how that went. I'm obviously not happy that he went with him. Who would be? That's kind of it'd be a bit weird to say, oh yeah, I was delighted that he went with Valentine. You know what? That's just what I wanted to see. No, what I mean is that it wasn't like a sudden thing where he's just like, Valentine is my father. Therefore I am Valentine. Therefore I must be evil. I must go with him. I am evil. I'm evil! I'm glad it wasn't like that. That never makes sense to me. You don't just go from good to evil with a transition and just like, there's no connection between A and B. It just sort of happens and you're sort of sitting there like, when did this happen? And I'm glad that it was established that Jace is going with Valentine to save his friends. He's not doing it because he thinks, oh, I'm evil now, I must do evil things. And he's doing it for Clary, he's doing it for Alec, Isabel, even Magnus, even though he doesn't really know Magnus that well. He's doing it to protect them. And as heartbreaking as the ending was, because he looked so broken on that boat, he looked horrified. Oh, I was weary of Dominic Sherwood in the beginning, but just how he portrays some of Jace's pain is just amazing. Because Jace doesn't express it, but you can see it on his face that he's broken inside. And I think Dominic did really well. Like, really, really well. And I applaud him for that. He's really good. And everyone's good. They all prove themselves, and I'm delighted with the cast. If I go into the cast talking, it's just going to turn into a whole video completely, but I might do a video on the casting sometime since there's the long wait now for the next season. So I might do a casting video, talk about how much I love them, because I could probably make a 40-minute video on that alone. So we'll not get into that. But yes, I'm definitely glad how they approached it. And it was definitely a lot better than just going like, I am evil now. Oh no, I'm evil. They made it better by saying like, oh yeah, if you don't go with me, I'm gonna hurt your friends. Because Jace will always protect his friends. He loves Clary. Alec is his parabatai. Isabel is his parabatai's brother, who he was raised with. And Magnus is clearly somebody whose parabatai cares about deeply. Even though he thinks that Alec is thinking with his Stella when he asks for his help, even though they've been asking for Magnus's help for the whole season. I didn't really get that. It was a funny line and all that, but it was kind of like, so why couldn't you have asked Magnus? Just thinking with your Stella? Okay, fine. We'll ask Luke then. There are bits and pieces in this episode that actually foreshadows future events. And I know I talk about this all the time, but it shows to us how the showrunners are thinking about the future. They've clearly read at least the first 3 books, and they're thinking about how they're approaching it and just adding little bits and pieces. Like, the boat is foreshadowing. I'm not going to say how, but the boat that they're on is foreshadowing. Camille is foreshadowing. Big foreshadowing if they go the direction of the books, and that's just going to be like, oh. But yes, Camille is foreshadowing. Anything with Raphael is sort of foreshadowing, because he does become a bigger player in the future. Well, he's already a bigger player in the show than he is in the books, but a bigger player, even bigger if they finally introduce him the way he was introduced in the books and have him part of it as well. The Book of the White is foreshadowing, and it's just like they're thinking about what they can do to hint at future things that were included in the book. And it still baffles me that people think that these people don't respect the material, because they're doing so much, they're inserting so much in from the books, they're just changing it a little. And I don't understand how anyone can just say that they don't care, like they're just doing whatever they want, because they're doing a lot better than the movie did. The movie couldn't even handle having Valentine having the cup at the end of the movie. I don't know how they were planning to move on to City of Ashes if Clary had the cup, because Valentine's supposed to get the cup, and it's just kind of like, okay, how are you thinking of moving this along? I'm actually quite interested to see what the City of Ashes script was for the movies, because they they just fudged up the ending really badly, and I know there was a draft of the script, so I'd be very interested to see what's happening there and what they were thinking was going to happen. But yes, this episode was definitely heartbreaking. Definitely broke us. Definitely just made us go, why end it there? I need more now. But I suppose that's what every season is like. So we're gonna have to wait until 2017 for the next one. Tragically. So yeah, those are my first thoughts. And in Fair and Unbiased, again, for Morningstar, I'm going to have to talk about something glum and dreary, because this fandom can't seem to get a grip of themselves, and it's starting to get very frustrating. But yeah, Fair and Unbiased is going to address the problem of, what is it, Dario Shum or something. Basically, the ship between Matthew Daddario and Harry Shum Jr., who play Magnus and Alec. Because I don't agree with shipping actors, but I'm not going to tell people who they can and can't ship. But I always step in to put in my opinion when you force it on the actors. Anyone who's been following me on Tumblr long enough know that I have butted heads with Joshua shippers a lot. And that's coming from me, who used to be a Joshua shipper, but I am not letting the Shadowhunters fandom get to that, because the Joshua people, the crazy ones, I'm not saying you all are, but you are unreachable. You can't even make a post about Josh Hutcherson's girlfriend without getting your inbox full of hate. And I'm not gonna stick that for the Shadowhunters again. If someone wants to make a post about Matthew Daddario and his girlfriend Kim, it's Kim, isn't it? Kim, and Harry Shum Jr. and his wife, they should have the right to, as long as it's positive, obviously. They should have the right to, without getting attacked by people saying, "Oh, they're together, they're meant for each other." That's not going to fly with me. I'm not taking that. And if that ever ends up in my inbox, I will be giving you exactly what I think of it, because that's what I've been doing with Joshua for nearly a year and a half now, and I'm just not going to stand for it. And you'll find out why in Fair and Unbiased, but yeah, I'm not taking it. And I know there's a lot of people on Tumblr who aren't taking it as well. It's just not going to go. So yeah, I'm going to have to talk about that in Fair and Unbiased. But leaving on a positive note, Morningstar was fantastic. I am dreading this long wait for whenever the season 2 starts. Fingers crossed it starts sometime before next year, depending on when they start production, although I doubt it. I feel like it'll be 2017 before we get to see anything new. But I suppose that's just the way it goes. But they're great, so it'll probably be worth the wait, and I can't wait for it. I know most of you probably can't either, so we'll see you next no, we won't see you next time. We'll see you next year. I'm going to be doing more videos. And thank you for the 100 subscribers. I've surpassed the 100 subscribers now, but, well, by 6 or 7, but I still surpassed it. 100 subscribers was my goal when I started making videos last September. And I know, compared to loads of YouTubers who have like take PewDiePie or something, has like 2 million or something, it's nothing. Like 100 is just like a speck of dust on this site, but 100 means a lot to me because it was my target, and my next target will probably be 200, and then 300, and 400, but I don't never expect to get that far. So thank you for making me YouTube obscure, as I like to call it. I have surpassed the 100 mark, and I'm very happy with that. So thank you all, and I'll see you in Fair and Unbiased. So bye.